Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to my channel, Tropical Empress in Spirit. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. I love having you here. My name is Amanda, and today I wanted to talk to you about psychic abilities and if you think that possibly you can be psychic. Because I got news for you. You're psychic, and you just didn't know it. So I want you to think of something that you've experienced that you just weren't sure about, that you just kind of like, no, that can't be, or this is coincidence. So, um, I want to ask you if you think you're psychic to raise your hand. Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to raise that hand? Because I'm telling you, if you didn't raise your hand, you should have raised your hand. And here's why. We all have an ability. And the one ability that we all have, like every single one of us, is the psychic ability called claircognizance, which in simple terms is your intuition. And this is something we all have. That, we get that inner knowing, that inner voice inside that tells us, that person, there's something not right about that person. I should steer clear of them. Or maybe you get, a feeling like, maybe I shouldn't get in the car today and go to the grocery store. Or, you might even just get just a hunch, like what people would call their gut instinct, that tells you that, maybe, you have a girlfriend or a guy friend that, is having problems in their, relationship with their romantic partner, their marriage, but they haven't told you about it. But deep inside, without talking to them, that things aren't going well, or maybe they just broke up. That's what your intuition is. It gives you information that there is no logical or rational reason of why you would have it. Your claircognizance is a clear knowing. It's an inner knowing. So I wanted to share with you some of my own experiences with this gift that, even for me, who, has, several gifts, psychic abilities, different types, that I'm not perfect. I've even ignored it, when I probably shouldn't have. But, I'm human. We're all human, right? We just, like, no, that's not it, or I'll do that later, or, gee, what could possibly happen? Just me, get in my car and driving to the store, Well, that's what I want to talk to you about and tell you about some of my experiences with it that I've experienced. In fact, I can tell you probably in the last month, I remember I was home and I was looking for something on the table, and I saw my two sets of keys. I have, one set for each car that I have, and I normally have both sets of keys on one key ring, that I always have one set or the other with the house keys. Well, because I had to have both of my cars, repaired, the last couple months, I ended up having to take, my key off my key ring with my house keys and give it to the dealership so they had the keys to my car. So that one day when I was standing in the table looking for something, I saw both sets of keys there, and my feeling was I needed to put both sets of keys on that one key ring, because something told me that my husband wound up locking the keys in the car. Because if you just had the one single key to my car with the little remote, it's like lightweight, you barely feel, or know you have anything in your hand. But you put both sets of keys with, the house keys on there, it's heavier. So, it's hard to miss. So, so I ended up going through, I looked at a set of keys, and I'm like, no, he's not gonna lock keys in the car, even though it's happened once before. And look, I'm guilty. I've done it, okay? But for whatever reason, I didn't listen. And within a week, sure enough, my husband calls me. He's at the store and says that he got in the car and was grabbing something and got out of the car and didn't even pull the key out of the ignition and locked the door before grabbing the key. I'm like, oh no, not again, So I've done it, we've all done it, And then I'll tell you another time that happened in the last few months that, you know, is kind of mind-boggling, because with your claircognizance, your intuition, you'll get those feelings. Like I said, you know, maybe you shouldn't, you know, go to the store, or maybe you should wait, you know, to order, you know, that item you saw on Amazon, you know, whatever that is. And we just ignore it. It's like, well, what could possibly happen? It's like, nah, you know. And then something happens. So um I had a birthday back in March. I'm a March 10th baby, and my brother lives about 2 hours away from me right now, and we were talking about getting together to have a little family get together. And so we had decided, because at that time he was, you know, into his daughter's softball. He was coaching her team and everything, and so that took up most weekends, and of course he works during the week. So we couldn't like figure out how to get together like right closer to my birthday. So we ended up postponing it about a month. It was in April, you know. We finally, you know, set a date on a weekend when he didn't have, you know, to coach. They didn't have any, you know, softball games going on. And so my brother asked me where I wanted to go eat, you know, and I told him, you know, I wanted to try, you know, I wanted to go back to the Japanese steakhouse that, you know, we both love and been to before, because I hadn't been there in a long time. So he said, okay. And, you know, they would make the reservation. So we decided before we go to the restaurant for our reservation, you know, we'll get together at his house and talk and spend some time together, and I can, you know, see his kids, you know, who I love. I love my nieces and nephews. So when I was there at the house, you know, we were, you know, just talking, and I'm playing with the kids, and the kids are showing me stuff and loving on me and everything, which I love. I love my nieces and nephews so much, you know. So when we were just getting ready to leave to head to the restaurant, I got a feeling. And that feeling was like, don't, you know, don't go right now, you know, wait, you know, something's gonna happen, you know. And I kind of like took a step back. I'm like, okay, what, you know, what's wrong, you know, what's gonna, you know, happen in, you know, the next 5 or 10 minutes or however long that you know, need to wait, you know, 10, 15 extra minutes. So, and then I got a vision in my head, which, you know, goes into the other gift that I have, which is clairvoyance, where it's clear seeing. You see things that are there that others can't see. Sometimes, you know, it's spirits, you know, spirit orbs, you know, or you get like images in your mind, which is called your third eye, but it's your psychic eye. It's right here, where you will get like images. And like for me, sometimes I'll get like a little video, you know, that plays, and it'll show me. And so, and what I got was, there was a black SUV that was sitting at a traffic light, and I saw the front passenger side of it had been wrecked. There was damage to it, but I didn't see another car there. So, you know, I'm seeing this image in my mind, and I'm like, okay, I see this, but I'm not sure if I understand. Like, I don't see no other cars. Like, I don't see what car this SUV hit, you know, that wrecked, you know. And so, and I'm like, wait, that's us. Like, if we get in the car and leave right now, it's going to be one of us. And me and my brother, we were driving 2 separate vehicles. So it was either going to be him, his wife, and his kids, or it's going to be me and my husband. It's like, okay, Amanda, wait, you know, it's not going to hurt to wait, you know, 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll take off. So I told my brother, said, you know, boo-boo, we got to wait a few minutes. Just, you know, trust me on this. Just, you know, just hold on a few minutes. And he's like, okay, no problem, you know. It's only like a 40-minute drive, I think, from his house to the restaurant. And, you know, we were like leaving, you know, about an hour early. So, you know, we had a few extra minutes to spare. And so when we did leave, you know, about halfway to the restaurant, we come up on this intersection, and I see the intersection, and sure enough, I saw a black SUV in the middle of the road at that intersection underneath the light, and there was damage to the front passenger side of the vehicle. But I didn't see any other car, and I'm like, okay, this is like exactly what my vision showed me, was this. So I'm looking around, and then I see a car that was out in the ditch from on the right side of me, and it's like, oh wow, you know. So This is what they were telling me, like, this was going to happen. And we had left, when we were planning on leaving originally, it was going to be one of us in that ditch. And so I was like, oh, thank you, God. And so we get to the restaurant, and, when I told my brother after we checked in with the hostess that we were there. And I told my brother, I said, did you see that wreck with the black SUV and, at the light, He was like, yeah. And I said, you remember I told you we needed to wait a few minutes before we head to the restaurant? He's like, yeah. I said, this is why. I said, our parents, mom and daddy, were showing me this black SUV, and that if we had left when we were going to, that we would have wrecked. It would have been one of us. So that's why I wanted us to wait a few extra minutes. And my brother's like, oh wow. And he was like, yeah, I've experienced that before, where he has also felt like our parents or our guardian angels, were telling him to, not go somewhere or not make this turn here or there. And in fact, my brother has angel wings tattooed on his back, and it's beautiful. So that was one of those times where, my claircognizance came through and showed me that, but it was also simultaneously working along with my clairvoyance. But just the thought of having, like, something's gonna happen, something's not gonna, be good, that was the claircognizance telling me, my intuition, that inner knowing that I knew something was bad or something bad was gonna happen if we had left. So, and that's why we waited. And so this is where I want you to trust yourself. Trust that intuition, that inner knowing, because you got it. You have it, okay? And your loved ones and your spirit guides and your guardian angels, and if you believe in God, or call, the higher source by another name, this is all of them coming through, talking to you, communicating with you, trying to guide you in life. It is that inner knowing to where you just know things that you can't explain. You have no rational, logical explanation for it, but you just know. You have that hunch, that inner feeling, like this or that, This is what claircognizance is, and you have it. And you can do things to help tune into it, to open it up more. Like, some people will suggest, it's like part of like your creative side, which, yeah, you can use that as something that, can help build it up, like to use that muscle. So, I know people who suggest, picturing like your house, if it's painted a certain color, well, redecorate it and envision it being a different color with different color decorations to go with it. And constantly do that, and that will help to fine tune it. Another thing that I try and tell people is there's a technique called grounding. You might hear other psychics and readers like me who mention grounding. Well, what is grounding? Grounding is taking you to the center, like centering your mind, clearing your mind out, emptying it of anything and everything that you have. Like, if you're worrying about bills right now, put it out of your mind. Just empty your mind and focus and connect to, Mother Earth, and connect to the heavens, and allow that information to come through you. So one of the things that I sometimes will do when I need to ground myself, and, you can do this anywhere. You can do it inside your house, if you have that sacred space, or nature is even, great, to ground yourself with. So I'll imagine that my head is opening and I have a rainbow coming down from the heavens, and all that information is entering here into my mind. I'm bringing it down, and to be told what that information is, what those messages are that's trying to guide me, and to tell me do this or don't do that or go here or whatever. So, and I do, and I listen to it more. Like I said, I'm not perfect. No one is, but I've even ignored them before, and I've learned that when you ignore it, like me, I end up learning later it was right, and then I'm kicking myself in my butt. It's like, man, what were you doing? What were you thinking? So I do it too, okay? But I want you to trust that. Trust you. Trust your intuition, that inner knowing. And I want you to be more loving and forgiving to yourself, okay? You are beautiful. You are handsome. You are intelligent. You are bright. You have an aura of light around you that people love, that will be drawn to you. But maybe you don't feel like you are, okay? Well, I want to remind you, you are beautiful. You are special. You have something magical inside you that needs to be shared with the world. And that's what Spirit is also wanting you to know, is that you are that magical being that people look to for guidance, for help, but also to remind you to love yourself. Hold your sacred space and love yourself too, okay? And so I also wanted to, touch on a couple other gifts that I have, to kind of give you a idea of how much my, abilities go, besides claircognizance and the clairvoyance, I'm also clairaudience, where I can hear spirit. Sometimes I'll literally hear their voice in my ear, or I may just get the thoughts and messages in my mind, or they, like I said, they show me visions of things, like little tapes of, like a little movie clip, or I see symbols, like I'll see spirit orbs, and sometimes I will see an actual full body apparition in front of me, but I'll see like certain symbols that gives me also information. And it's some of those gifts that I use to connect to spirit, to the other side, to my spirit guides, my guardian angels, and my loved ones. And then I also have what is known as precognition. And precognition is clear clear sight, or clear foresight, which is to be able to see into the future before things happen. I've experienced that many times too over the years. And I also have what is known as telepathy. And people always talk about telepathy, oh, you can read my mind and this and that. Okay, no, it's not that. Okay, it's not what most people think it is. But telepathy is that ability where it's mind to mind communication, where your thoughts can be transferred to someone else's and their thoughts can be transferred to you, and it comes to you like your own thought, but it's not your thought. And it can also be visual images. Memories can also come through, like a loved one is sharing a memory with you, wanting to show you what they're thinking about. That's what telepathy is. And then there's also a gift called clairsentience, which is just clear feeling, where you could be in a room and you might be alone, but you feel like someone's there, like someone's watching you. You may not see anything, you may not hear anything, but you feel them. That's what clairsentience is. And that's where a lot of times that I will feel a spirit that I may not always see them or hear their voice or get visual images, but I feel them. I feel their spirit, their energy. It vibrates through the earth and is really strong sometimes. So I will also get that. And then there's also the ability that is called empath, which is kind of like clairsentience, but it's not. An empath is one of those people that can walk into a room, not speak a word to you, not even know you. You could be complete strangers, but they know what you're feeling. They can feel it because their body feels it like it's their own. So like if you're, if you got a headache, I'll feel that sometimes. If you're sad or depressed, I could walk into the room, be happy, just excited about something. And then suddenly my mood shifts and it changes because I just entered a room where someone in that room is sad and depressed. So I start feeling that way too. And sometimes people even, talk about empaths can be your lie detectors, which is also true because you can tell them you feel one way, but they know that's not what you're feeling, or, it's something different. So that's also, what I do experience. Sometimes I'm sensitive to it. And then there's also the gift of smell, which is clear alliance, I think is what it's called. There's another term for it, but that's another one where it's clear smelling. Like your scent of smell. You can be in a room and, not smell anything, but say, suddenly you smell your dad's cologne. That's an example. Okay. And your dad, passed away, so he's not there. But you smell his cologne and you smell it strongly. And, you might smell it for like maybe, 10, 15 seconds. At least that's the way it works with me. And then it'll disappear, you know. And there's no source for it. Like I said, it's not like you have a bottle of your dad's cologne sitting out or you just sprayed it for you to smell it. It's like a scent of something where there's no direct source anywhere in your environment. So I do experience that too, and that will let me know when a spirit's here trying to connect, if I don't see or hear anything. Um, and then there is, oh geez, there's one more I'm missing, I think. I'll think of it later. But those are mostly what my gifts are, and they range back and forth, and they work simultaneously. Sometimes one will work with the other, or it seems like one will cross into the other. It's like they're both doing it. Like an example would be like the claircognizance and the precognition, where I'll get a warning of something. Like say I just, got a feeling that my grandmother just died, which did happen to me many years ago. I just had a feeling that she wasn't here anymore. And she lived 3,000 miles away in California. And so I was like, I was 17. I just turned 17. And I just knew she wasn't here anymore. And, and I was sad, but I was trying not to cry because I wasn't sure. Because I was still kind of going through the motions of dealing with my psychic abilities and trying to understand them and ground myself, learning about them. So I didn't say anything to my parents. I just waited, and was hoping for the best, that it wasn't true. But deep within, I just had that feeling of doom. And some of y'all may know what I'm talking about. It's just that feeling like doom, like something bad has happened, So it was, I believe, the next day that I get a call, or no, it was an email from my younger sister letting me know that yes, my grandmother died on my birthday, my 17th birthday, and I was devastated, but I kind of already knew too that she wasn't here anymore. So, so for me, that clear cognizance was that feeling, but then the precognition was telling me like she was gonna die, that she was getting ready to die, and then it ended up happening. So that's what I want you to know, is that sometimes you can just have clear cognizance and not have any other abilities, but other times you can have more than one, where, like me, there's an array of different ones that I experienced and I have. So if, you ever find someone is, telling you, no, you're crazy, you're mentally ill, or even like me, I get, you're possessed, or, no, you're talking to demons, okay? It's not true, okay? And I want you to know that, okay? I want to be the one that stands, up for you, to tell those people, if you're being bullied or being called names and crazy or whatever, that I'm here standing in solidarity with you, that you are not crazy. You are experiencing these things, whatever those things are. If it's something like what I just talked about, described, that it's real. It's not in your head like, some people want to say it is, and, for the people out there who want to also say that, it is the devil. Well, I'm sorry, but it's not. And I'm telling you, it's not, okay? Because for me, I always say, well, okay, if this is the devil at play, then why did I start experiencing these things when I was 6, 7 years old, okay? At a young, innocent age, where it's not like, I had my parents in there doing seances, trying to raise the dead, or messing with the Ouija board, or anything else along those lines, but yet I have these abilities, and I believe in God, I even wear a cross, and I don't take this cross off my neck. I sleep with it on, I shower with it on, everything. and I hold it and I pray and I talk to God, you know. So for me, it's always the ones that, you know, seem to be, I guess, so indoctrinated in their religion. And, you know, I have nothing against them. Like I said, you know, I'm a Christian, and I think religion is beautiful. But I also think and believe that there are people out there who are like me, who were born with this, and they, you know, this was God giving them this gift to help people, you know, to not just help themselves, but help others, you know. So I don't pay any attention to those people who want to tell me that, you know, to be negative, you know, tell me I'm crazy or it's the devil, you know. I push it on my mind. And, you know, and I would get a lot of those comments on another social platform that I have, where I've answered questions, and, you know, I share some of my experiences, and those religious people out there, and even the skeptics, the atheists, will come on there and say I'm crazy, or no, that's the devil, you know, blah blah blah. Okay, well, I'm 43 years old, so if it was the devil's not going to wait this long for me, you know. He would have already taken control, and he hasn't, and he's not going to, you know, because I'm strong in my faith, and I know God, and my guardian angels, my spirit guides, and my loved ones are protecting me. They're always protecting me, you know. So I'm secure and confident in knowing that. And that's what I want you to know, is that you are deeply loved and protected. And if you have any of my abilities, or maybe even one that I haven't mentioned, I believe you. I know you are special. You are gifted just like me. And you should use your gifts however way you want. If you know, if it bothers you, I get that too. I understand, you know, you're afraid of it. I was there when I was younger too, so I do understand. I respect everyone's decision on how and what way they want to use their gifts, you know. And that's free will. That is your choice on what you want to do with them. But I just want you to know that you are psychic. If you don't believe you are psychic, because at the minimum, you are claircognizant, which is your intuition. And I'm asking you and telling you, you know, I hope that you will turn to it more and rely on it and allow it to guide you. Allow your spirit team, which is your ancestors, your loved ones, your spirit guides, your guardian angels, and if you believe in God, then God, that's guiding you, trying to, you know, help you, you know, through life. So this is just something I wanted to talk about today. So I hope that there's something in this that I've said that helps you, that resonates, that validates or confirms some of the feelings or things you've been experiencing, and that I hope that it helps you, that, you know, you find a way to use it, or to maybe not be afraid of it, or you're just unsure. So I want to be that person to help you and to let you know that yes, you do have that gift, and it's okay. It's not evil, okay? And even like tarot cards, people will talk about, it's not, you know, that it's devil, it's witchcraft. It's not. It's a tool that some people use to get information, guidance from the other side. And, you know, when people like tarot readers, you know, they'll use their claircognizance, their intuition. Like, information will come when they turn over a card, and they'll read it, and they'll get more information. They'll get a feeling, you know. That's them using their intuition. And that's just one example of that, of how, you know, people, you know, out there use it, you know, in their life, in their career, in their job, you know. So I hope this helps. I hope that, you know, you can find some peace in knowing this, and knowing that there's someone here that's standing beside you in this, you know, beside your, you know, your loved ones, your spirit guides and angels, that me, you know, I'm standing with you, you know, to stand up to those people, those bullies out there that want to bully you and belittle you and call you names and this and that, okay? I'm standing here with you to let you know I'm with you on this, and I believe in you. So it's just now up to you to have faith and believe in yourself. So I hope that there's something that has resonated with you, and if it has, if my energy or anything I've said resonates with you, please consider liking, subscribing, and sharing my videos, so it will help someone else. And until then, I wish you much love and much abundance and much happiness and peace. And till next time, bye.